it's not that I don't appreciate beautiful things. I really do. I just have always been tormented by this fear of spending money on stuff that doesn't have any practical utility. Well, like a vacuum cleaner or like a tea cozy or something like that. But now we were in Prague celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary, and my husband, Bob, of 25 years, who is not tormented by the same sort of financial anorexia, thought it would be a really cool idea if we bought ourselves a piece of art from Prague to remember this trip by. Maybe something out of hand-blown glass, which is apparently what the Czech Republic is so famous for. So my committee in my head immediately started saying, oh, perhaps you should mention we could get matching luggage tags or like a trivet with a picture of Prague on it. But I really wanted to be a person who felt free to buy something beautiful just because it was pretty to look at. So I said, sure, I think that's a great idea. And so we spent the next couple of days in between museum and castle visits and stuff, popping into a number of little galleries and shops, all of which were full of hand-blown glass, almost all cobalt blue, quite beautiful, I suppose, but sort of cold and formal looking, very impersonal. And I was starting to lose my original mojo for this project. But then on the third day, we happened to walk past this little gallery, kind of a hole in the wall that was tucked under one of the bridges. And we walked in there, and the place was entirely different. It was kind of whimsical and many other colors besides cobalt blue. And then there in the corner, my eyes locked on this beautiful vase. I was actually raised to say vase, but I'm going to say vase because it was Prague. All like kind of curved lines. It was like the size of like a toilet seat lid, but maybe like 6 inches deep, and deep red rust with the splotches of yellow and green sunflowers, which the shopkeeper told me they were not painted on. This was blown glass, like blown into it. And I've heard people talk about going into the Humane Society and their eyes just lock on to a pet, like a dog or a cat, and that they know they were meant for each other. That's how it was for me. So the shopkeeper brought it up to the counter, and as I was caressing it, Bob kind of filled out the paperwork. You know, there was the price of the vase, and then the shipping and the insurance and our address, and we told her we will be back in Minnesota at this date, so you can ship it anytime after that. And not once did I have a tinge of buyer's remorse. So we got back to Minneapolis, and I started waiting for the arrival of my loved one. And a week went by. We emailed the shopkeeper. She assured us it was on its way, and another week. And then a couple of days later, it was almost 3 weeks, the box arrived. What surprised me was how flexible the cardboard was. It was, like you might get a fancy dress shirt in, like that kind of cardboard. But what was disturbing was that I could hear it. And so we brought it to the table and took a pair of scissors and respectfully cut through the cardboard and peeled back the 3 layers of very thin bubble wrap, and it was like 100 pieces of broken glass. I felt like I was witnessing death, like it had come to this violent end, and I was fairly heartbroken. I know it was an inanimate object, but, it was like, it was my first, for this. So, the shopkeeper was very understanding, and she said she could refund the money, or she could send us a couple of photos of vases by the same artist. So I said I needed some time. I was afraid that every time I looked at it, it'd be like, well, the replacement. But after about 4 days, we chose one, and it arrived completely intact. Beautiful, different than the other, a little less magnificent, a little narrower, no sunflowers, but these splotches of blue and green, and we put it in this place of honor, and it is beautiful. That just the one thing that I'm struggling with is that I haven't been able to let go of the first one completely, so currently it is the pieces of glass, are sitting in a container on a shelf next to my dad's cremains. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Kathy, everyone.